It's been more than a month since the launch of the Apple Watch Series 8. It's time for my honest, long-term review. Welcome everybody, welcome to Apple Insider. It is Andrew here. And as I mentioned, it has been more than a month now since the Apple Watch Series 8 has been on the market, which means that a lot of the hype from Apple's marketing and the launch has subsided. And you start to realize after, a month of day-to-day use, what features and changes are actually important and game-changing and make the Apple Watch Series 8 a worthwhile purchase or upgrade from the previous version of the Apple Watch. And those are things that I'm going to break down in this long-term review. Here's the thing. In my opinion, there are basically two new features on the Apple Watch Series 8. That's really it. It's not any faster than the prior generation, there's no radical design change, and there's no new case materials or really even any new colors. The two new features that are even just worth mentioning is crash detection and body temperature sensing. So let's talk about those in a little bit more depth and what I actually think of them. So the crash detection. I think this is a game-changing feature. It's crucial and it can definitely save lives. Thing is, haven't been able to test it, which is obviously a good thing. You're almost like buying into insurance because it's going to help protect you in the event of a car crash, but you obviously don't want that to happen. No one really likes buying insurance, and it's kind of the same way. Do you really have to buy a new version of the Apple Watch because you want to be more protected during a car crash? It's a little bit hit or miss. I mean, it's a nice feature to have, but I don't think it's something people are going to be upgrading or yearning for. That said, the new iPhone 14 series also has crash detection, so for me, crash detection on the Apple Watch is a little redundant. The other new feature that's at least worth pointing out is the new temperature sensors. So there are technically two temperature sensors on the Apple Watch. There's one built into the screen and there's one hidden underneath. It'll measure your wrist temperature as well as the ambient temperature of the room. It'll do a bunch of calculations and give you deviations from your body temperature over time. For me, I looked at it for the first couple weeks just to kind of see how my body temperature was changing, which can be impacted by things like when you're sick or if you've been drinking or other environmental factors. But outside of those first couple weeks, I never went back to it. In fact, I had kind of even forgotten about it until this review. I'm like, what are the new features here again? Oh yeah, body temperature sensors. It just doesn't do much right now for a lot of people, making it not really a feature worth at least upgrading for. Now, to be fair, I am obviously not the main target market for this feature because the biggest benefit of those temperature sensors is for anyone who is using Apple's cycle tracking app. It's able to monitor that body temperature and then it can retroactively let you know when you have been ovulating, which I think is a legitimately cool feature if you are someone using that cycle tracking app. Personally, I'm not, and that feature doesn't do a lot for me at this moment. I know this all sounds a bit like a downer, and I'm not trying to be, because fact is, the Apple Watch Series 8 is an insanely good Apple Watch. It's the best Apple Watch there's been, other than maybe the Apple Watch Ultra. Apple's only taken an amazing watch and made it better, which is only a good thing. The downside is that it's just not a big upgrade for people who have recent versions of Apple Watch. If you have an Apple Watch Series 7 or possibly even Apple Watch Series 6, there's not a lot to entice you to go to the Apple Watch Series 8. If you have a Series 5 or a Series 6, it may even be worth it to find an Apple Watch Series 7 if they're still around versus jumping to the Series 8. I just think it makes a little bit more sense. There's not anything huge here that I have to have compared to the Series 7. So for upgraders, don't do it. Don't upgrade to the Apple Watch Series 8. It's just not worth it. But if you have an older version of Apple Watch and you want the newest version, you're only going to be happy. Because this watch is great, and it has gotten even better with watchOS 9, which does come to previous versions of Apple Watch. Seriously, watchOS 9 is amazing, and there's so many new features that I love, like the redesigned notifications that don't take up the entire screen when you're looking at your watch. Nike watch faces are now available on all versions of the Apple Watch, and there are 3 entirely new watch faces that you can enjoy. It brings a low power mode that can nearly double the battery life of your Apple Watch. There's vastly improved sleep tracking that can show the different stages of your sleep throughout the night, making it on par with some of the third-party applications that are out there. Workouts got a great overhaul. You can now customize your workout experience, including a bunch of new views, including seeing your activity rings. There's support for duathlons and triathlons with Apple Watch now. And I love the heart rate zones. That's one of my favorite new features here, to see where your heart rate is while you're in the middle of a workout to optimize your calorie burn. It's just really, really useful. Plus, we have the medications app, so you can track your medications. There's seriously a lot of new stuff in watchOS 9, and it's so good, but it also comes to previous versions of the Apple Watch, which is great on Apple's part because it makes the older model still so enticing compared to the new one. Seriously, if you need an Apple Watch, the Apple Watch Series 8 is an awesome watch to upgrade to, but it's a downer if you're coming from a Series 7, maybe a Series 6. But let me know what you guys think. Are you going to pick up a new Apple Watch Series 8? Maybe you're holding out for the Apple Watch Ultra. If you can still find one of those around, let me know down below in the comments. I've also put links to the new Apple Watches, including some deals, in the description. Otherwise, check me out on Twitter at Andrew_OSU, and I'll see you in the next video.